All right, well, we're starting over. Welcome to the Fortcast.
Technology.
I know. So we just sat here and talked for I don't know.
That was
how
probably
long.
we had a 15 minutes into our podcast
About
before we
15
realized
minutes.
that our audio wasn't recording. And what fun is that? God, what a letdown.
Frustrating.
Now I've got to sit here and act like I'm enjoying this again.
All over again.
Yeah.
Today we have Kayla and Justin here. I know you guys are usually used to seeing Matt sit in this chair the last couple of episodes.
You are on the king's throne.
I'm on the king's throne.
The big guy's chair.
I'm in the big boy's chair.
That's right.
It's not funny. So, we're just switching it up a little bit this time. We have me and Justin here. I know we've had more focused and centered episodes of the Fortcast in the past, but, we're literally just goofing around.
Yeah.
So.
Don't turn it off, though, because I think
No,
there's
keep
going to
watching.
You'll
enjoy it. We're not sponsored or anything, but we both brought these drinks out intentionally.
That's not true, actually. I bought, with my own money, some bubblies from the store.
True.
And then Kayla started whining about being thirsty a few minutes ago, and I went and got her one of my drinks, and now she wants to take all my bubblies.
Yeah. They're good.
Pretty much how it went down. So
they're really good, and I'm not sorry about it.
But we're just picking on you. You can have all my bubblies if you want them.
This is the blackberry flavor. Yeah.
It comes in apple, cherry, orange, lemon. Strawberry's my favorite. The raspberry's good. Mm-hmm. And this is good. We've been trying to eat healthy. In fact, Kayla, I'm really proud of you. She is you can see it. Now she's not going to stand up and model for you, but she's lost some weight and she's trimming up, and she's been. I
have a jawline.
Yeah, at staff meeting, she's been eating. She's bringing like lettuce and vegetables and stuff to eat while we're eating Chick-fil-A and pizza
and the stuff that I really want to eat.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been trying.
You've been doing
Justin's
good.
doing a great job as well. Justin and Jenna. Now, who is Jenna? Tell us.
Jenna is the most amazing person in the world.
Agreed.
She's my wife.
God bless her.
10 and a half, almost 11 years. And she's really doing good. Actually, she's lost over 40 pounds. She's doing really well. And I'm getting close to 40. But it's helping drinking the bubblies have been helpful. So
Nice.
Yeah, which I know it's hard, isn't it? Like it's not a normal,
Not.
Just like in every other area of life.
Well, here's the thing for me is that eating isn't just eating, Eating is a social activity. You get with your friends, you go out to eat, some of my friends and Joey, we all like to go to Smoky Bones on Monday nights because they have all-you-can-eat wings.
They also
have
have those fried donuts that are delicious.
I say I'm not a fried donut kind of person. But
They
do have those new milkshakes that are ridiculous. So, you get the milkshake and a slice of cake on top.
Okay. Low carb.
Lean.
That's right.
But so eating is it's not just something that you do to fuel your body. It's a social activity. You sit down with your friends over some food, and in a place like Columbus where there's limited things that you can get into. You can always go and eat. Always. You can depend on these chain restaurants to be there for your entertainment.
That's right. And that's how they sell you. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. God made food taste good. Mm-hmm. And that is a wonderful thing, but it's also what makes it dangerous because all there other things in life that are good or fun, they can get you in trouble when you don't control them. So you have to, it's difficult for me because sometimes I just eat when I'm not hungry because it's just there.
Yeah.
It's a bored. Weird. So I have to be deliberate. And anyways, we're proud of Bubbly for offering
Thank you, Bubbly.
A delectable selection of beverage.
I said this before. I'm usually a Lacroix girl. Usually the lemon flavor or the coconut flavor you can find stocked in my fridge. And nobody else in my household understands. They don't get it. But I love it. but this is pretty good. So this is giving me some LaCroix competition.
Before the podcast cut off, we played this game called This or That. The game's played basically where you read item A and item B, and then the other person's supposed to pick the one they like the best. And, of course, if you do this for, I guess a select number of times, it gives you a little information about the other person. Right. So if I said cat or dog, you would say
dog.
Right. And if everybody that knows Kayla knows she loves her dog's like her best friend.
I have
and
two.
One of the only people
Roscoe
that actually likes her
Rolo.
entirely is.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. There's Joey. No, I'm joking. You know I like you.
That was good.
So anyway, this or that. Let's see. How about bubbly or LaCroix?
I'm gonna have to stick to LaCroix.
All right, you know it better. You know their product line better.
Right.
All right, Papa John's or Little Caesars?
Papa John's, is that even what?
Yeah, I think so. I agree. $5 pizza is pretty good, but Papa John's is definitely better.
Yeah.
All right, Mac or PC?
Mac.
Okay, that's good.
My mom will be disappointed in me, but
the artist
there's no
in me,
going back.
Yeah, the recording artist in me respects that answer.
Yes.
All right, one more. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
All right, good.
That's kind of like Mac and PC.
It sort of is. It sort of is.
But I do know people who enjoy PC, Shay, that don't enjoy Mac, but they have an iPhone.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
She has an iPhone, but she thinks that Mac is for the sophisticated, the
That's
people
right.
that are full of themselves.
Well, she's
Too good
just
for
a country
PC.
girl, Shay. Shay's country, and she don't know how to use those sophisticated computers.
Don't do her like that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I hope she watches.
Me too.
I'm sure she'll text me.
So, Justin, last week we had Bobby up here, talked a little bit more about him, getting to know him and his family and, what he enjoys to do, his line of work, that kind of thing. And we want to do the same thing with you because Justin has been a part of the Fort for a very long time. But if you're new to the Fort or if you've only been here, a certain amount of time, you may not know who he is because he's very involved behind the scenes. Justin works in the office on, certain days of the week. He also plays keys and, doesn't really get a chance to be in the forefront, so you'll see my face, you'll see Garrett's face and stuff like that. But, in the little corner in the back where Justin's playing keys, you don't really get to see him too much. So that's why we wanted to highlight you.
Ooh, highlight.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, Kayla's right. Like, some people are naturally, as much as I like being in front of a crowd for being, I guess, I don't mind being in front of a crowd. It doesn't scare me, and I can be comedic a little bit at times and a little, maybe the inappropriate joker from time to time. But all that to say, my favorite thing to do is not be the leader. I don't like being the person making the direction. I like being a person that is creatively affecting policy, I guess. I like the creative process of it, like where you're a naturally great person in front of people. You are, you're energetic. You have conciseness to what you're saying. You have a powerful voice and not just singing. You're also, and this sounds weird, but like you have the right kind of attractiveness to be a stage front person. Garrett also has that. Like Garrett's, he's put together. He looks the part. You always come in with your hair done right and you get your cool one. I've been wearing the same shirt since I came out of the womb. It's like my haircut hasn't changed. Like people know me. I've just recently moved from a 2-button polo to shirts like this because Garrett made fun of me, and so I'm like, I guess it's time. He
was like, throw all your other polos out.
He really did. But I don't really like that part of it. I like the creative part of it. I like the fact that, we get to set up a podcast room and sit here and do this kind of stuff. And we have lights and computers and, those who know me already know this about me, but, I do. And, of course, you know this about me, too. But, I own my own production studio, which you've recorded in before. And much like your friend, your bae, does the same kind of work. That's the fun part for me. I love it when somebody comes in and I get to work with somebody and make their dream into something. That's like the musically. I mean, that's been fun for me. And the church part of it I like as well. Just like we're in staff meeting, I'm kind of the like, here's a crazy idea. Let's give it to Justin. So, and that's actually what I like. I'm not a logistics person where picking on Shay, that's totally Shay, or, you're kind of a crossover. Like you do both well. I don't do you don't want me to be in charge of planning center or emailing out stuff or collecting and reviewing the prayer request cards. I do appreciate getting together and praying for people. Like that part is one of my favorite parts of staff meeting. But I'm glad I'm not the person who has to assimilate all this information together. So, and this being behind the scenes is good. In fact, to be serious for a second, and I know it's like real serious, the people at the church to me that are the ones who matter, not matter the most, that's not the right way to say it. The ones who have the most meaningful jobs are the people who rarely get seen. Like, in some ways, you and I and Garrett and the ones of us who get to play on stage, we get our kudos, if you will. Like, we get our reward because we get the benefit of being on stage. People notice what we do. And we don't do it for that reason, but that's a reward benefit that we get just from getting to be on stage, I guess. Now, there's times where we wish that we weren't on stage, where something goes wrong, we sing the wrong thing, we have a bad day, we're, whatever.
Been there.
But generally, we get that it's a good thing, right? But the person who, like, stands in a T-shirt and stands out under the tent serving coffee, or that, is downstairs cleaning the kitchen, or like the ladies at our Bible study at the Mount Zion campus who get there an hour early and prepare, salad and food and like that's to me. And there's just 3 of them, and they have their own little kind of like their own little like group of friends that come together and do that. Like that to me, I love that. Child care workers. I mean, we have, I walked in, again, I was at the Mount Zion campus, but I walked in, there's 2 ladies who are relatively new to the Fort Church down there serving and taking care of kids and like working with the older children. And I walked in and they got a Fort shirt on and they're smiling. And to me, that's super cool because nobody knows they're doing that. Like other than them and a couple of people like Lynn, and like, I didn't even know they were signed up, and I was just completely thought that was cool. And, we have it just, I like that. I love the fact that our church is full of people that do that. So to me, biblically, and I know this again, I'm not trying to, we said we're being playful a little bit, but maybe this is about as serious as you'll ever see me. But I think in the context of like the way I read scripture, it's the people who are like the least noticed that seems to be at the real heart of God. Like, seeing people do like, the ones who are doing, the ones who are in the limelight, they seem to be, it's like, I mean, even, the Bible says they get their reward. The ones who pray out and open, but the ones who are the ones who are doing this work behind the scenes and they're going to get, that's going to be a much bigger blessing in the end.
Yes. I love that because I feel like that's one of the things that has drawn me to the Fort the most is that people genuinely in this church have a servant's heart, and you're one of those people, of course. And it's of course you are. But like honestly, it's hard to go to, especially in this climate of where we are, just in church culture in general. It's hard to find a church that isn't focused on the trendiness and the appeal and all of that, more than they are focused on, okay, the servant's heart, like the service of it all, like what we're actually, the crux of what we're here to do,
right.
It's very easy to get distracted with all the, the other stuff of, being cool and like making a podcast and, all that kind of stuff. But it's the things that, when you get to the heart of it, and I've just seen that over and over and over again in this church, and how, the goal is always to put the person first, to serve the least of these, to, go for that one instead of the 99.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always. I feel like any church that, like, because stuff like this podcast is fun, and hopefully we have some people watch it that, like, they go, okay, that's cool. We have a little subculture of people who are watching it and paying attention, and it helps you know more about who we are. And we have the tip of the week, or the giveaway, leadership tip, or different things we do. But this is just an art. It's like, why paint? Painting is not. Painting is to portray beauty, a bigger thing, right? Or sometimes the lack of beauty, right? There's art that deliberately shows, the ugly of the world, but like it's making a bigger point. And to me, like, all of this podcasting, live streams, recordings, like doing an album, which is a regular part of my life. All of that has no meaning outside of the bigger understanding of, like, what it's for. It's to point to the Creator. And so, like, I think you're right. Like, I love when we have people, like, I would much rather us, to be honest with you, as much as we have to do this kind of stuff to remain relevant and to connect with people, I would much rather us just all show up and let's take the money we've all put it all in a pot, and let's do some kind of good with it. Unfortunately, we humans don't work that way very well. We have to have accountability. We have to have systems in place to check and balance things. And we have to be able to, like, it would be super cool. One of the coolest Christmases I've ever been a part of. I know we're about to enter the holiday season, but I'm kind of a bit of an Ebenezer Scrooge when it comes to, like, Christmas. Like, I'm not anti the holiday or the spirit of it, but I just don't like all of the crazy commercialism of it. And I don't mean it from a spiritual standpoint. Like, I'm talking about, it drives me insane. There's people running over each other. The restaurants are more crowded. I can't stand going to a store. I don't like the obligation of me getting you a sweater and you getting me a sweater and us both acting like we're happy about it. I'd rather you just go get your own sweater and I'll go get my own sweater and we just be friends, But all that to say, I'm not killing anyone's buzz. Go do your thing. But one of the coolest Christmases I ever did was and I can't take credit for this. I wish I could, but one of my family members was like, well, why don't let's just take the money we were going to spend on each other for Christmas, and let's go, this is kind of funny, but let's go to Waffle House Christmas Eve. We're going to eat, have a good time. And then when we leave, we're just going to leave this big stack of money for our waitress. And we're not going to give it to them in pompous. We're just going to give them to them and walk out, and they're not even going to know it, not until after we get in the car and drive off. And so there was something very rewarding about that, and that kind of stuff can happen, I guess, at the small family. But, in the big church, we have to have ways of communicating things. And that's where, like stuff, like all the podcasts like this can be a little bit nonsensical, and they're meant to be a little fun. It's hard to communicate the gospel. It's hard to communicate the truth of what's going on. It's hard for people to trust us too, man. That's the worst part is the church is made up of people, and people are sinners, me and you included.
Yeah.
As much as I think of you in a positive light, and I don't think of you as a person who does wrong, even you, Kayla King, as a sinner, I know, right? And it's me, but the thing is we all are. And the thing is, and that's what's the church, just like anything else, has got corruption in it. And so we have to, like, constantly hold each other accountable, because the bigger good, which is the gospel of Jesus Christ, is really what we're going after. And that's the thing that my heart, that is one thing I do feel like the Fort has, is I feel like as a staff, I can sit around and look around and go, we're all screwed up. The staff, each one of us on staff, like, there's days where y'all have to put up with me and I have to put up with you, but I feel like we're a family, and I feel like we know each other's crap, I guess. Like there's things that you and I disagree on, politically perhaps, or socially, or maybe it's even how we should do ministry, or maybe it's a theological issue. I don't know that there's a whole lot of that we disagree on, but I mean, like, that's true about anybody on the staff. But also I feel, and there's also things like, we may go, well, I wonder if that's the best way Pastor Matt should be doing that, or if that's the best way we should be doing songs or whatever. People have their things, the grievances against the way I do things. But I love the fact that we're all like, it's not like we just tolerate each other. I feel like we genuinely care about each other, and I hope that reflects out into the bigger community.
If you are in the Columbus area and you have interest in music or creating your own music, particularly, see Justin at Bib City Sounds. He's in the Bib City area. That's around 2nd Avenue. And he offers a great service for artists and musicians.
Music production
at Bib City Sounds. It's actually pretty like, a lot of people go there.
Well, thank you.
Surprisingly.
I'm fairly thankful that you're legitimizing my business. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a legit thing. It's not just him in like a basement,
Yeah.
It's a nice studio too.
Well, thank you.
It's really nice if you just want to, if you just want to go and chill, He doesn't invite people to his house, but he will invite you to his studio.
Yeah, I keep my studio in really good shape, so it's really fun.
Nice. So thanks for joining us today, Justin.
I had a really good time just sitting here talking.
That makes me feel good inside.
Yeah, well, that's what I did it. That's why I did it. I didn't do this because I felt like it was meaningful or impactful to our community. I just did it to minister to your heart.
Wow, that means a lot.
That's the kind of friend that I am.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching.